don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel because it really supports my ministry. Okay, let's get into it.
I just want to start off by apologizing if I look really crusty in this video.
You did not look crusty.
I don't remember the last time I showered. Just kidding.
Let's both say hello, hello at the same time. Ready?
Why do you say hello, hello?
I don't know. I just did it the first time. And
Why don't you say Willkommen?
Hello, hello. My name is Alyssa Shea, and this is my husband AJ. And today we're gonna be doing a young married couple Q&A.
The alliteration is
It's
present.
not really alliteration, but it's rhyme.
Oh, what is alliteration?
Alliteration is like when you say the same letter multiple times, like pizza, pepper,
Oh,
pizza.
man. Third grade got away from me.
We got married really young.
Yeah,
and
at 20.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think, have questions about marriage, and especially people our age who are looking to get married and wanting to get married. So we thought that something like this might be beneficial to somebody out there who is maybe even newly married or thinking about getting married young.
We got married on December 30th, 2016. So we are 3 years in, going on 4.
3 years.
Holla.
Okay, so the first question is just share some history. Where did you meet, how you got engaged, and how long you've been married?
Oh, well then I guess I already said.
Well, we kind of answered how long we've been married, but what about like where we met?
We met at a music school, which was also our high school.
A high school.
Yeah. Alyssa was the like preppy musical theater type, and I was the like shred head guitar type.
Yeah, which knowing us today, you would never think that was the case.
Not much has changed.
So we met in high school.
You had the type of friends that would burst out singing at lunch. They would be the kids that everyone else would be sitting.
If y'all have seen Victorious,
yeah,
that was our high
school musical.
Okay.
They would burst out singing their musical theater songs in the middle of lunch.
That is not even true. Oh yeah, how we got engaged.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good story. You want to tell it?
Yeah.
You tell it probably better than I do.
This is a really good story. I'm not going to go in depth because it's long. It's basically my family took AJ and I on a trip to Disney World, and this was like a dream vacation.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. We went to all the parks. We ate at these amazing restaurants. And so, like, in the middle of the trip, AJ took me to the Royal Table, which, if you don't know, it's the restaurant inside the castle in Disney World. And we were like vlogging this whole thing. Maybe I'll post our engagement video or something. But this is so funny. So AJ goes, we set the GoPro up on the camera. He throws me off. I don't really think at this point that we're going to get engaged.
Yeah. So I grabbed her ring right before.
I was wearing my purity ring.
And right before they were bringing out the ring, because I gave it to them. Ring.
Ring.
So I don't know why I did that. That's so weird. Right before they brought out the ring, I grabbed her purity ring and I was like, I really hope to replace this one day.
And in that moment, literally my heart sank because I was like, this whole time I thought he was going to propose.
Yeah.
And then he says that. He said one day, not today. So then, even though I was smiling on the outside because I was having a really good time, my insides were like crashing and burning.
Man.
So anyways, we have this GoPro set up recording all of this, and then the people come to the table with the actual ring, and it's sitting in a Cinderella glass slipper with rose petals in this platter that they're gonna like reveal to me. But right as that happens, AJ moves this glass of iced tea right in front of the camera.
I got up, I moved the table or something.
No, you moved the tea.
Oh.
You moved the tea.
Yeah.
When he gets down on one knee, it's like this iced tea is right in front of him, and I'm being proposed to by a glass of iced tea.
Oh, God. That was a great story.
That is how we got engaged.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put the video up for you guys to see. Okay, why did you get married so young?
Because we wanted to bang.
That is not why. Why did you get married so young? When we decided that we were going to get married, everyone around us was asking us, like, why? You guys are so young. You haven't even played the field. AJ was, like, my first real boyfriend. Everyone was really confused as to why we wanted to get married at such a young age.
Yeah. So when we did get married, I actually had family around the 8-month or 9-month mark. They were like, you know it's coming up on 9 months, right? Because they thought that we got married because they thought...
Because I was pregnant.
They thought she was pregnant. Yeah, they literally, like, were like... There's no reason for anyone to get married unless they're having a baby together, like out of wedlock.
So the reason that we got married so young was because we just knew that we were supposed to, and it was almost like, why delay the inevitable? For us, ministry is a huge part of our lives, and, well, really, it's like the goal of our lives is the ministry that we do. And for us, we do ministry better together. We serve better together, and because, you know, we realized that, we were like, why wait to marry this person that I love and that I know I'm called to be with for the rest of my life?
That was a way better answer than mine.
Yeah. What did you think marriage would be like, and is marriage everything you hoped it would be?
No, in the best way.
No, in the best way.
But maybe also the worst way. There was a rough patch. You go into marriage with like expectation that you think that your wife is going to be or your husband is going to be, and you expect them to be this like perfect void filler in your life. Like they're never going to be dirty, they're never going to leave dishes out, and they're always going to want to fold the clothes or do the things that I don't want to do around the house. But then you get married to an actual human being and you live with
and
them.
Not this perfect fantasy
like,
that you had in your head for your spouse.
So there was tension there, you know, like we had to learn how to live together and create a good environment between ourselves.
We just had to learn to put down our expectations of one another. And that's something that we still kind of struggle with sometimes. I think, you know, when you're going into marriage, you have all these dreams and all these hopes and expectations for what this spouse is going to be like. When in reality, we should be going into marriage saying, what am I going to bring? What am I going to contribute to this marriage? As opposed to, what are they going to offer me?
Right. I think what we have now is better than what I hoped it would be. There's a connection in marriage that you can't really put into words.
I honestly, I don't know what I thought it would be like, but I think I assumed it would be easy because I'm marrying my best friend.
Yeah.
And I think I thought that every day would just kind of be like a hangout and we would kind of be, you know, young and in love forever kind of a thing. But as you grow and once you get married, seasons change, you know, and people change and grow.
Yeah. I didn't know how immature I was until we got married because you start to see how selfish you are. Things that you probably need to change. Marriage is a great thing.
Marriage is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is fun. It is enjoyable.
Yeah.
It is like hanging out with your best friend, but there's a lot more responsibility and selflessness that comes into play than what people think.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it earlier, but it's really not about what the other person is doing for you, but it's all about what you're doing for the other person.
Well, I feel like if one person didn't and the other was always like that, it could get really draining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a team game.
Yeah, not as easy as you think it is, all my youngins out there. Marriage is not as easy
Marriage
as you
is
think
not
it is.
easy, but it's also not impossible. So don't let people scare you out of marrying the person that you know that God has picked for you. Because that is another thing that we faced too, was everybody was like, oh, you're too young to get married.
Right.
Like, you're not going to want to be married in a couple years. What about when things get hard? You're going to get a divorce. Do you know what the divorce rate is like right now in America? Right. Be wise in who you marry, but at the same time, like, if God has confirmed that that's the person you're supposed to be with, then marry that person.
Love is a choice. That's it. And you have to choose to love the other person.
Word, babe.
No, it is, yeah.
Love is a choice. You have to choose it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole, like, in love thing, it's
it takes
season.
work.
Yeah.
You don't just, like, you don't live this fairy tale in marriage that everybody portrays.
Some
you have
days,
to choose to love the other person.
Yeah.
No matter how crabby they are. And I'm saying this about myself. You have to choose to love them knowing that they're not perfect. The engine of that love for us as Christians is Jesus. So I love her because Jesus loved me. And to people who aren't Christian, that won't make any sense. Like, okay, yeah, because Jesus loved you. But no, he loved me selflessly, despite of me. So we're going to choose to love each other selflessly, despite of each other, because of what Jesus did.
Jesus and the church are a perfect example of marriage. The church is the bride of Christ. How did you decide what church you were going to go to?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so AJ and I, we grew up at completely different churches.
Yeah.
And now we go to my original home church.
Okay, so Alyssa grew up in her church. I grew up at a different church. And I didn't want to go to her church. We both wanted to stay in the places where we grew up with the people we knew. We looked for counsel outside of both of the churches. At the time, we went to a Christian a private Christian college.
Professor.
So we found a professor there. He's a great, godly man. And he had us basically write out a list.
It was a list of all of the reasons why we wanted to go to our church.
Yeah.
He made a list for his church. I made a list for my church.
And so we scored each thing on the list based on how biblical the answer is. It wasn't like one came out over the other as far as like what the score was. But through doing that, it's clear to us that the heart of God was for us to go to Dream City Church. Through that, we saw God's heart for us and how our dreams and passions aligned with his kingdom. And we felt that we could serve him best at Dream City Church. So we dove in like head first.
And since then, we've just gotten a lot of confirmation that we are where we're supposed to be. God has just blessed us abundantly, and now we're both on staff at this church and doing a lot of ministry. So, did you wait to have sex until marriage?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And it was the best.
It was so worth it.
Yeah.
I have another video on my channel about sex before marriage.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it is so just genuinely how I feel about it and what the Bible says about it, more importantly. My virginity and my purity was the most valuable gift that I could have ever given my husband.
You probably have a lot of friends, especially if you're in high school right now, who are saying like, oh, why wouldn't you want to, this is a terrible phrase, but why wouldn't you want to try it before you buy it? You know, like, and I hear those things and I cringe. What we shared on that night was incredible.
It was just so sweet and so innocent.
And the world paints it to,
Sex isn't just about pleasure, it's a lot about the intimacy. And to have that, to start your marriage in, is so, so valuable because if you have a marriage without intimacy, there's gonna just be a lot of struggle and a lot of hardships. If you have the choice, wait. If you haven't, repent, ask for forgiveness, and the Lord will cleanse that from you and you can be pure again for your husband or your wife. Do you think you were ready to get married when you did? I don't think anyone can be like 100% ready because you don't really know what you're diving into. I think if you are willing to put somebody else before yourself, if you're willing to humble yourself, and if you're willing to submit to the leadership of God in your life and the leadership of your husband, then you're ready. When did you know that you wanted to get married?
So we were the cringy high school couple.
We were so cringy.
Yeah.
We wrote love letters to each other.
Our tagline was infinity.
Aww.
After the first date, I told my mom that I wanted to marry Alyssa.
This is actually so crazy because we were like juniors in high school, okay? So we weren't necessarily like real life dating. So a month into our relationship, we went on our first date and we went to the state fair. Yeah. And basically after we went to the state fair, we both went home and we told both of our moms that we were going to marry that other person. Basically after the first date, we knew that we were going to marry each other. Yeah. What role does your faith play in your marriage?
Oh, I don't know how marriage is possible without Jesus.
It's everything. Yeah. It's literally everything.
The verse that I go to is that it says, Jesus didn't consider equality with God something to be grasped. He was God in the flesh. But he humbled himself to the point of death, even death on a cross. So in marriage, the only way it's going to work is if you model after Jesus' humility towards each other.
The way that I see it is God is love.
Yeah.
So if you're ever going to love somebody, you have to know God and you have to have God in you. If you're ever going to truly love, then you have to know the one who is love, and that's God. I think in order to have a successful marriage, and we're still young, you have to have God as a foundation. In order to love, you have to know love. You have to be able to be loved by God. In order to be selfless, you have to know Jesus' selflessness and his humility. And in order to serve, you have to understand how Jesus served us. In order to have all of those things that make marriage so rich and so worthwhile, you just have to know the Lord. Alrighty guys, well I hope you enjoyed that young married Q&A. If you have any more questions that you want us to answer, throw them down in the comments. But don't forget to like this video and subscribe because it really, really supports our ministry. You are so loved and you are so valued, and we know that to be true from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.